let's get into the final segment. Let's talk about an interesting article that came out from The Athletic. And basically, the idea is that a lot of people believe that the Ravens, they're not doing it right. They are not as hot. Like, people that really believed in the Ravens, and they always backed what the Ravens did, they're like, you know what? Maybe we can't defend this anymore because of the way that the Ravens drafted recently, which kind of surprises me because I thought it was an incredible draft and they filled needs and they did everything.
Yeah.
But the belief is basically that the Ravens are focusing on the wrong positions. They're focusing on the wrong philosophy. Safety isn't seen as one of the most important positions in the NFL. Center isn't seen as maybe the most important position on the offensive line. They drafted a punter. There were players available at flashier positions at some would say more important positions, like the edge rusher spot or maybe corner or wide receiver. Joshua, what do you think about that? Because I think both of us heavily disagree with the philosophy, but what do you think about it?
So sometimes our philosophy can bite us in the backside, and sometimes we can reap the reward. I mean, it's almost a gambling. It's almost a gambling game with us here in Baltimore. I mean, EDC said it best. He loves the art of deception. I think the great Sun Tzu. I think there's a quote by him when it comes to the art of deception. Don't quote me on it. TTB family, if y'all know about Sun Tzu, then y'all drop it. Y'all drop it in the comments and share your knowledge with me so I can learn and retain that information. But the thing is, I was upset with some of the moves in this year's draft. I'm not gonna lie. I did think we could have got better players at a higher clip. But in the grand scheme of being a Ravens fan, you all have to understand we don't always go for the flashiest players, whether it's free agent signings, or in the draft. We go best player available, sometimes the best guy that we can afford, and it could be serviceable. So I would say in this year's draft, when you look at the grand scheme of things, we've been missing out on a playmaker at safety. So what you do as a 14, one of the best safeties in that class slide to us. We didn't move, we didn't trade up. We stayed at 14 and we picked up Kyle Hamilton. Next thing you know, after we picked up Kyle Hamilton, you know, uh, uh, we let go someone that was just I want I want to say disgruntled, but was unhappy with how things were going in his NFL career. Totally understandable for both parties. Respectfully, went their separate ways. Out of that move, we get back in the first round. In depth, and then we trade back later in the first round and picked up someone that another guy that was arguably the best center in his class. And what is something we have been missing out on since Lamar Jackson been playing? We've been missing out on an offensive on center. And the thing I've been always saying is you can't keep on rotating a center out with his quarterback. You brought it up. You brought it up in previous shows. You know, Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday played for 5 plus, maybe 10 plus years together. And uh, even when he did leave Indianapolis, his last Pro Bowl game, he took his last stat with Peyton Manning, even though he was on the NFC team. So when you look at the grand scheme of things of how the Ravens, really think, it is still beneficial to us because we added a playmaker. We got a young man that will be protecting Lamar Jackson for the next 5 plus years. Then in the second round, we go out there and get an edge rusher that's also another freak of nature and also a long time friend of our other freak of nature on the opposite side that possibly will be playing this upcoming year. Third round, he added another defensive lineman that not only can line up on the interior but also in other techniques on that line of scrimmage, and also is good in the pass rush. And shout out to Travis Jones because he has lost the weight in that 325 pounds, and he says he's feeling good. I love that for him. Keep on working at it, my guy. And then fourth round, you found a lot of value. You brought in some corners, you brought in some tight ends. Hell, you even made a future move in bringing in a new punter because our current punter, Sam Cook, gave us great years, maybe had one of the highest QB ratings um, as a punter in the league. He's now, he's coming towards his back end of his career. So instead of waiting, till it's time, they went ahead and made a future move. You can't be mad at that. You really can't. So, that article, it just doesn't add up. We don't buy in. The Ravens don't zig. We zag. We obviously don't go with everybody. We don't go with what everybody's doing in the league. We're still a run first offense. We still, we still want to be that defense that's still nasty and gritty. That still, believes in defense winning championships. We're not this high flying offense. That's not us. So, if people feel like we're going downhill, then you don't really understand what it means to be a Raven or the Ravens organization.
When I first saw this article, I was so confused because I don't understand how people could watch that draft and the way it unfolded and then say, you know what? I lost faith in the Ravens. They're not doing it right. They're taking positions that other teams don't value. I want to know, who should the Ravens have taken, right? People look at Kyle Hamilton, they're like, oh, Kyle Hamilton, they shouldn't have taken him because safety's not as valuable as a position. Who did you want them to take? Edge rusher? Well, Jermaine Johnson and George Karlaftis fell to the back end of the first round. You wanted them to go D tackle? Well, Jordan Davis was gone. Oh, you wanted them to go corner? Oh, well, all the other cornerbacks were gone. Maybe offensive tackle, but they signed Morgan Moses. They have Ronnie Stanley. So it's like, okay, they go Kyle Hamilton. Then they trade Hollywood. They're sitting there at pick 25. And they could what? They could draft an edge rusher. They could draft a receiver. Or what has been the biggest problem for the Ravens the last couple seasons? It's been the center. Like, the center has lost them more games than a lack of edge rush and a lack of wide receivers. So they draft center. And then they still get the edge rusher in Mr. David Ojabo. I don't understand. Maybe later in the draft they drafted a punter. I don't think people understand they had 6 fourth-round picks. It's not like that was their one day 3 pick and they were like, oh, they wasted it on a punter. They had an NFL record number of picks. You can use one of those and say, you know what? We need a punter. We need a punter. All right, let's go grab one because we want the first choice. And it's not like no other team did this. Right after they drafted him, well, there goes the next guy. Dallas Cowboys, next pick, take a punter. And then the Bills later in the draft a punter. It's not like the Bills are a team that everyone's like, oh, the Bills suck. A lot of people clown on the Cowboys because of their management. I'm not gonna disagree with that. The Bills have been doing a phenomenal job at building their team. They did the same thing. They drafted a punter. Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time, maybe one of the best GMs of all time in NFL. He builds his roster how he wants. And people may say, oh, Cole stretch. He wanted a versatile offensive lineman that could play on the interior and the exterior. He got his guy. He went into that draft saying, I want these players. I'm not going to take that chance of them not being available, and I'm going to draft them. So he drafts Cole Strange, and he drafts Tyquan Thornton. Those were the 2 guys where he was like, I want them. I don't care. I don't care if people think I overpaid. I'm not going to risk trading back and saying, oh, man, someone snagged him right before we got him. Oh, but we got an extra 5th round pick for a player that we didn't really want. No, they're gonna take the guys they want. And what have the Patriots done in the last 25 years in the NFL? I don't know how many championships they won. Oh, yeah, 6 championships. And people may say, oh, well, they had Tom Brady. Really? Yeah, you have Tom Brady, but you got to put a roster around him. Who did he have around him? Julian Edelman, former quarterback. Julian Edelman. Oh, they drafted 2 tight ends very early in an NFL draft. Who did they end up being? Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. Who did they go out and, trade for and sign? Oh, guys like, Randy Moss. And they just acquired this. They drafted Chandler Jones. Yep. They drafted so many legends. because they knew what they wanted and they got them. They drafted Mac Jones. Now, we don't know exactly what he's going to turn into, but it was clear that was the guy they wanted. They wanted the pocket passer. Mac Jones was the pocket passer in that draft. They got him. They got their guy.
True.
They would have used the first. I don't know if they would have used the first, but they probably would have gone Trevor Lawrence. But if they had the 10th pick and Justin Fields is on the board, they're probably going with Mac Jones because that was the guy they wanted. You know, the Carolina Panthers in this year's draft, they got a Keme. They could have traded back. A lot of people wanted them to. Well, they got their guy. So why trade back and risk it? They also ended up drafting a quarterback. They ended up getting Mr. Matt Corral. They didn't trade back to get Matt Corral, trade back into the first round, like a lot of people were hoping. Oh, well, if they trade, like I had said it, if they trade back to 14, they could still draft the quarterback they want, which apparently was Matt Corral.
Yeah.
They said, no, we're going to take the guy at 6, take the tackle, and then we're going to get the guy. Like, we're going to take the guys we want, and we're not going to risk them going before. If they trade back to 14, there's a chance they don't get it. They're not getting a Keme. They're definitely not getting a Keme. They may not even, like, they're not getting Charles Cross either. So it doesn't make any sense why people would look at this draft and be like, the Ravens are going downhill. They filled every need they could have filled. And you may say, oh, but they didn't fill wide receiver. They didn't go into the draft needing a wide receiver. They went into the draft with a wide receiver and they ended up trading him. And it shows that they're very, like, so many Ravens fans have complained, oh, we're never giving our young guys an opportunity. We know why doesn't Devin Duvernay get out on the field? Why doesn't James Prochet get out on the field? Where's Tylan Wallace?
Taking shots now. Go on now.
Yeah. I don't understand why people get so frustrated with that, and then they're like, how could we not draft a wide receiver? We could have taken George Pickens. We could have taken Christian Watson. At 14, we could have gotten Treylon Burks. We could have gotten a lot of players. Well, we get to use the guys we drafted that have looked really good. And there's still chances for the Ravens to, we talked about signing Julio, signing Jarvis Landry. We can still sign those guys. But, like, we don't need to aggressively draft wide receivers when there's players, if a wide receiver had fallen to the Ravens, they would have taken him. They liked Calvin Austin, I believe, was one of their favorite players in this draft. Steelers snagged him up. Okay. That's there's nothing you can do about that. So they're not going to react excessively, right? You never want to see a team see like, oh, look, a tackle got taken. We got to take a tackle. They're all going to be gone. No, the Ravens look at it like, oh, a tackle got taken? That's good. That means, a safety's still available. Right? We had talked about how, I think even Eric DeCosta had said, like, we hope wide receivers go early. Because if wide receivers go early, then that means edge rushers, tackles, safeties, they slide to 14. Well, edge rushers and tackles got taken early, so did corners. Who slid? Safety. That's what they capitalized on.
Yep.
They're not going to react and be like, oh no, edge rushers are going. We got to take edge. Oh no, the tackles are going. We have to take Trevor Penning, who's definitely not the 14th best player in this draft. It's not worth it.
And this class was so deep when it came to edge rusher, when it came to offensive linemen, when it came to corners and safeties. But like we said, them first 5 picks, it can shape up this year's draft. And what did it do? Jacksonville started off by taking what's his name?
Trayvon?
Yeah.
Walker?
Yep. And I mean, it was like literally a domino effect. Next thing you know, Kayvon slips to 5. They get and then the Giants get the offensive, and then the Giants double back and get the offensive lineman. The Jets in New Orleans, they get the wide receivers and everything like that. So we addressed our needs at this point. Granted, yes, when we traded away Marquise, I don't know about you, McConnell, but myself, I did want us to replace that wide receiver, but I had to understand, with being a Ravens fan, it's not accepting everything. It's looking at the grand scheme of everything. You can find a wide receiver. I have enough faith in Martin and Williams that they can groom these young men in this facility because we didn't have the wide receiver coaches before. Now we got two guys that has great relationship with wide receivers all over that has gone to been Pro Bowl stars in this league. So I trust these guys to shape these young men up in order for them to be the best wide receivers they can be. So we just gotta have a little bit more faith in our organization. I know we was a little stressed out that we didn't get a JC Treader. I can understand that. It was a veteran guy that was demanding a lot of, but he was still demanding a lot of money. And honestly, with the Ravens organization, cap is really the cap with us. We don't try to go against the grain. Instead, we bring in a young man. It wasn't the sexiest pick, but it was the necessary pick. You get
Yeah.
you get you get a young man that is aggressive, that is very smart, that's going to get better, that anchors down that line for the next 5 years, and actually builds a relationship with our franchise QB. I'll take that. You
Yeah,
gotta look at the grand scheme of
absolutely.
things.
Yeah, the Ravens know what they're doing, and like I don't know how the Ravens are the criticized organization when there's so many organizations that are clearly run horribly. The Jacksonville Jaguars,
Yeah,
horribly managed. Honestly, the Cowboys, pretty poorly managed because Jerry Jones doesn't hire a general manager and he's the general manager. That's probably a bad move. I still think that's bad. I like Jerry Jones. I like Jerry's world. I'm a fan of Jerry Jones, but I don't think he should be the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, there's a lot of teams where you look at them and you're like, you are not smart. The Seattle Seahawks are not good. Like,
yeah,
they're poorly managed. The
yeah.
Packers are poorly managed.
The Texans.
The Texans, very poorly managed. Like, not saying the players on that team are bad, but the way that they go about doing a lot of things is not smart. The Ravens go about things strategically, and they always seem to have a plan. Like, oh, they let go of Deshaun Elliott. What's the plan? Marcus Williams is the plan. Oh, they let go of Hollywood. What's the plan? Well, it seems like they want to sign a wide receiver and they believe in their players. Like, they knew when they traded him away because they could have said, you know what, Hollywood, you're right. We need you on this team. We are going to change up our system for you. And they were like, you know what? Even if the plan sucks, like, we believe in Greg Roman. They have a plan at least. It doesn't look like the Jaguars have a plan. It doesn't look like the Seahawks have a plan. It doesn't look like the Titans have a plan after they trade A.J. Brown and then they draft a quarterback in
Yeah,
Malik Willis.
yeah, it's about to get intense in Tennessee. I mean, Ryan, I'm sorry, but not sorry. But you about to get that Joe Flacco treatment at this point because you open up your mouth about the wrong QB.
I'm really hoping
I'm
Malik
rooting for
Willis
Malik at this
takes.
point now.
Oh yeah, Team
I'm rooting
Malik.
for Malik.
Yeah, I never liked Tannehill anyway, so like I'm just
Hey,
extra
I'm
Team
sorry.
Malik.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Um,
I'm gonna get a Malik Willis jersey just off the strength now.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Guys, check out the airtime as well. It's going to be in the comment section down below. It's also on the YouTube page. I tweet it out, every once in a while. We message in there whenever there's news and stuff like that. We like to talk. We'll definitely start trying to go live and stuff like that. It's like a Twitter space where, you can go live and, we can invite you guys on. You don't have to show your face. You can if you want to. We can have those talks with the face, without the face, just audio, all that type of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So make sure to join that. But thank you so much. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. And we'll see all of you again next